and we are in technically day 3, but day 1 was literally just prep. So we're on day 2 of building our salads. And today we have not much to do because we did all that prep on Sunday. So there's just not much that we're going to have to do other than build our food and, well, heat it up first and then build it. So the first thing we're going to do is get our food heating so then we can get on to the little trick I want to show you on how to fit all your greens into a wrap. So first we're going to take our beans that have been marinating overnight in our sauce that we created yesterday. So they look really good. I'm going to put them into this pan over here. Get all that juice in there. All right, then I'm going to turn that on to medium high. And it looks a little thick to me, so I'm actually going to add maybe like 3 tablespoons of water to this and put that in there because we really don't want that to burn. All right, that would ruin lunch if that burned. So I have that on my gas stove on number 4. I'm going to put a lid on it just so we don't have to worry about simmering all that liquid out. The next thing we're going to do is get our rice heating. Now you can heat your rice in a microwave if you want to. I prefer to use this little steamer basket, a little old-fashioned like that. And this is the rice that we cooked on Sunday. You can see it sort of congealed a little bit. I actually didn't put it in the freezer yet because I decided I would use it all over the course of this week. Maybe not all this week, but anyway, it's in the fridge. So we're going to put that into our little steamer basket here. Like that. And then I have water boiling already on the stove, about a cup of water in a saucepan. And you just lower that down in there, put the lid on, turn it down to medium. And while the beans are heating and the rice is steaming, I'm going to show you how to fit all those greens into a wrap. So we're going to get these out of the way. And we're going to pull out our food processor. So as we talked about, one of the things that I find helps me stay very successful with a whole food plant-based diet are these salads. I lose the majority of my weight when I have a large salad in the middle of the day. It helps me stay full. It has tons of nutrition in it. And that has just been very helpful for me. So my goal for January was to get back in the habit of that big salad every day. So here's how we're going to do it. If you are just starting with this, someone mentioned to me yesterday, oh, that kale is a little rough on them. So if you need to cut back on the amount of kale that you're putting in your salads, you know, in the beginning, you do that, please. Don't make yourself sick if your body's not used to it. So I'm going to do those 2 big handfuls of kale that we put in our salad yesterday. So that's usually my measurement for the day for the salad. And then we're going to take 2 handfuls of our romaine. I'm not going to put quite as much romaine in this, only because this is almost like a fun filler for me. It has a bit of a milder flavor than kale, obviously. It's got a nice little crunch to it. But in something like this, I'm going for nutrient dense as opposed to the cute little crunch. So we are going to put this in our food processor and we're going to pulse this. So we're going to pulse this down small so we can fit more in our wrap. So here we go. Okay, so as you can see, that took us down to half the volume that was in there. That's going to be much easier to put in a wrap. So we have that. We have our Power Blend Cruciferous here. That word is so weird to me. And every time I type it, I have yet to find a typing program that tells me I'm not typing it wrong. So, all right. So that's what that looks like, right? That's our purple cabbage and our carrots and our red cabbage. Red cabbage, red onions, carrots in there, kale and romaine in here. We are going to put this to the side. When I build these wraps, I like to do a little bit of bell pepper. So I am actually going to slice some very thin bell pepper to put in my wrap. I like that sweetness of that bell pepper. If you wanted to, you could put on salsa. You know what I forgot? Hold on a second. Trey, yes. Would you please run out to the fridge? He's working on a science experiment at the kitchen table here. Would you please look in the fridge over here and find me that green jar of the whipped citrus guacamole that I made yesterday? Is it in there or is it in the fridge outside?
It's in the fridge outside.
Okay, can you grab that for me, honey?
I'm gonna grab it. Oh,
thank you. So I actually used that guacamole dressing, here it goes, on my dinner last night. And I'm going to post a new recipe for you today. I made this amazing, it was so delicious, black bean, like a loaded black bean soup. And then I put the whipped citrus guacamole on top of it like a creme fraiche. You can't find it. That's really funny.
This is a bad time not to be able to
And I put it on top almost like a creme fraiche, and then I crisped up corn tortillas and I put that, I sort of scooped my soup with that. Anyway, it was amazing. I'm going to post that recipe for you today. So here is, thank you to my lovely assistant. Here is our whipped citrus guacamole. And yesterday when we made this, I was not pleased, if you remember, with the way that it came out, because I didn't like the fact that the Vitamix sort of conked on me there. But that's all right. It actually came out okay. When I used it last night, it was very tasty. So we have this beautiful old green jar and our beautiful whipped avocados and lime and some seasonings. All right. Our stuff is still heating. It'll be another minute or two. And then, so to wrap all this up, I'm actually going to use a Joseph's lavash. I like these. I like the fiber content. And they have flax, bran, whole wheat. If you can't do gluten, this probably isn't your choice, but you probably have another wrap that you know that you can use. You could also put this on like Ezekiel bread. No reason you can't make it into a sandwich. Or you can just leave it as a salad. So we have our pretty little wrap here. And we have our greens, we have our dressing. We're going to put this over to the side. And let's see how our beans are doing. Well, the rice is definitely heated. The beans are ready to go. See how fast that is? This doesn't take a long time. Okay. So, like I said yesterday, I'm going to mush mine. Mush is the technical term. I'm going to mush mine. And so I do want to confess, yesterday when I was putting all my stuff away, I realized that those Adobe chipotle peppers have soybean oil in them. I was bummed about that. I'm not going to throw away the can. I'm going to use it. But in the future, I probably won't use that anymore. Or if I do, I'll only have it, once a month. So balance in all things, I say. All right, so let me show you what this looks like without burning myself. There are our smushy beans. Now, they're a little wet, I think, for a wrap, but I can fix that. We are going to try to get the rice out without burning ourselves. All right, so this rice steamed up beautifully. Hold on, let me show you. Again, without burning ourselves. This rice is steamed up just beautifully. I'm actually going to add it right to my beans. What that will do is it'll actually soak up some of that liquid. All right. Yum. Coming right along here. All right, so I've sort of mixed that in. Again, no burning of the self, Rosalyn. You can see I've sort of got that all in there together. So Tammy, I appreciate your question. On a whole food plant-based diet, we actually focus on high carb. That's one of the tenets of a whole food plant-based diet. That's where we get our energy. So you probably won't see me do a low carb salad, just because then I would be dying for lack of sustenance. But I would say if that's your lifestyle choice right now, you could probably just do straight up greens. So I'm not really sure how to help you with that, because again, that's not sort of where we go. So, all right, we're going to take our bean and rice mixture. I know it looks sort of yucky. Never fear, it's going to be delicious. All right. We're going to spread that out on our wrap here. I'm just making sure you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to spread that out. I don't want it too thick because I'm going to roll this up. Yum, yum, yum. It smells fantastic. All right. Then we're going to take our greens and our, oh, I moved my cabbage. Hold on. I knew I had this out for a reason. Good morning. All right, so we're going to put down some of this pretty purple cabbage. Look at that. That's so pretty. That's about as much as we would have put in a salad. All right. Then we're going to take our greens that we pulsed down so we could fit more in. Dump it all on there, baby. Don't be shy. And I've got this pile of stuff. If it falls over in the middle of the video, we'll all have a good laugh. All right. We're squooshing. Lots of squeeshing today. Trey's enjoying being our sound man.
Oh. That wasn't the sound I meant to make.
That was the sound of the science experiment hitting the floor because he's not big. Oops. All right. Then I'm going to lay down my lovely red peppers. This is going to be one full wrap, baby. All right. My knife and my whipped guacamole. My whipped citrus guacamole. Like I said, I used this in place of a creme fraiche last night on top of a black bean salad. I'm going to post that recipe for you today. That was absolutely fantastic. Oh my goodness. It was funny, Tom and Trey were being silly in the kitchen while we were eating, and it was distracting me from all the yumminess, so I took it in the other room. And I just enjoyed it in the peace and quiet because it was so fantastic. I really wanted to just... So Lindsay, these are Joseph's wraps. Let me back up for a second. So I like these Joseph wraps. They look like that. If you're local to where we are in central Pennsylvania, you can get them at Wise Market. They also have pitas, which I love, and mini pitas, which I love. So the thing that I look for in a wrap, and a wrap is obviously a processed bread. It's not a perfect food, especially for the whole food plant-based diet. However, I do think it's good to have options. And so I do have these available for myself. So if I want a wrap, I can have it and I'm as close to compliant as possible. So my goal is always I take the carbohydrate number and I divide it by the dietary fiber. And as long as that's 5 grams or lower, I'm good to go. This one is only 4 grams, or is 4 grams. So it's actually lower, which is better because it's higher fiber. So yeah, and it's closer to whole grain. I think that's the thinking behind dividing the total carbohydrates by the dietary fiber, is if you're 5 or below, it's obviously got more whole grains in it. They've done something to up that fiber content. So this one does have, I will say, less fat than the wraps. There's some other wraps that I have that have more fat in them. This only has 1.5 grams of fat. I'm really comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with the fact that it comes from soybean oil. But at this point, oil is oil, and for that amount, it is what it is. And then the other thing I look at is sodium. This one's actually a higher sodium. This one's 290 milligrams. So I think it's a little high in sodium. But if you noticed, there's no salt in this food. I cooked my beans from scratch. I did not use salt. The only salt that's already in this would be in that adobe sauce. And I used a tablespoon of that. So I didn't add any salt to the dressing, and I didn't add any salt to the rice. So nothing else is salted. So I'm pretty comfortable with this entire meal. You know, I might hit 300 milligrams of salt, maybe. But I look at my food. I'm going to take a moment. I look at my food. I'm going to move these because I can't see you now, but at least they're not glaring. I look at my food as a whole, and so I look at a week. I don't necessarily look at a day. So over the course of a week, how much salt am I consuming? I don't salt my food when I cook it, and I only add salt to taste after I've tasted it to see what else I think it needs to bring out the flavor. I use a lot of citrus in my cooking. Studies have shown that citrus can actually be used in place of salt. It tricks the tongue. So if you're trying to reduce your salt, you can do that by adding citrus to your food. So a lot of my foods have citrus added instead of salt. I also use a lot of spices instead of salt. So over the course of a week, again, I know that my cooking has no added salt, and I also know that I can check what I'm eating, and like one of these. I'm not going to have another one of these this week. So I'm comfortable with that. All right, let's roll this baby up, because I don't want to keep you guys too long. You were troopers on Sunday. This is warm, so it rolls up really nicely. What? God bless America. You might need a fork and a knife for this, but it's gorgeous.
You need some duct tape to shut it?
Trey wants to know if I need duct tape. I don't need duct tape to shut it, but thank you for offering. Okay. Oh my goodness. I am going to take a bite of this, by the way. All right. So it was really funny earlier when I was getting ready to do the video. I was looking for something nice to wear, and Little B, our little dog, kept following me all over the house. His nose was literally on my leg because he thought I was going out. So I wondered if maybe I should get out of my jammies more. All right. So let's see. Let's see how she looks. Oh, look at how pretty.
That's
Okay,
wonderful.
look at this. Isn't she pretty? All right, let's take a bite. There's no way I can fit all that in my mouth, but I'm going to give it a try. And if you've known me for any period of time, you know I've been told I have a big mouth. I know, say it ain't so. Hold on. Ooh.
Oh, look, it works.
I love the spiciness of the beans because of that adobe that I added. I'm not going to take another bite of that because I feel like once I get started, it's going to be really hard to stop. But that is stinking amazing. Really, really good. I cannot wait to eat lunch now. And so for this week, one of the things that I've been doing is making sure that I leave 12 hours for my digestion. If I can make it a little longer, I do. So I'm basically breaking my fast with these big salads. And my body's really happy about that. Hold on, someone left me a comment. Let's see what they say. Yay! I'm so glad you like it. Everyone, Larry is actually Marcy. So everyone say hi to Marcy. That's wonderful. I am so glad you like it. And your salad yesterday was absolutely gorgeous. If you guys haven't checked out my Facebook page, Marcy posted a beautiful picture of her Cape Cod butternut salad yesterday. Wonderful. And she actually made the sweet mustard dressing with the roasted Vidalia option from the cookbook. So she said her whole family loves that. So this is lunch for today. Thank you so much for joining me.